Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. We are coming off the post-Extreme Rules edition of Raw. A lot going on in the world of wrestling right now. Make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding Extreme Rules, Raw, and of course Payback coming up in less than 3 weeks. Got your questions here from spring.me/AaronRift. First one today comes from Kyle Mitchell 84. Hey Aaron, what are your thoughts on WWE Creative right now, specifically as it pertains to Raw? It seems we've seen the same tag team main event for the past 2 months now. It's getting ridiculous. Please answer in video. WWE Creative is definitely lacking. No question about it. The thing about the Extreme Rules pay-per-view that made it a good show, in my opinion, was the quality of the wrestling. One area of WWE that's hard to criticize is the talent and the quality of the matches. With the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, you had one good match after another, a couple of really good matches, and that made it a solid show. But when you judge the pay-per-view just based off of creative, it wasn't very good. You had that whole angle with Ambrose and Harper leaving and not being seen again and then coming back, and then you had the main event, which was just a big train wreck. And then on Raw, it's just the same old thing. It was just right back to the usual WWE show where a guy comes out, cuts a promo, someone interrupts him, and then a match gets made for the main event. Sometimes it's a tag team match. Sometimes they start off with a match and then people interfere and then it gets turned into a tag team match. It's the same damn pattern every single week. And that's the thing I didn't like about the King of the Ring, is that it wasn't given any kind of creative thought. It was just thrown together. Hey, let's do King of the Ring. We got to promote something for the network. We need something to convince the free subscribers out there to pay money next month. So we gotta beef up the content for the network. So let's just do King of the Ring tournament out of nowhere. And with no real purpose. It's just a bunch of the mid to lower card guys fighting over a King of the Ring title. And what does that mean exactly? What is the King of the Ring winner going to get? It just feels like it was thrown together. I'm all for the King of the Ring being back, but it should have been a pay-per-view, and it should have been between more top-level superstars, and there should be something to gain from winning King of the Ring, like a major title shot at a major pay-per-view, something like that. Just not a big fan of how they're doing it, and that's one of the major issues with WWE, is just the creative process is really lacking right now, and I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon, unfortunately. I think we're stuck with this usual pattern. I mean, some people out there thought Raw was a good show. To me, it was just okay, but to be honest, I was bored with a lot of it. I actually stopped watching it live because I was just too bored. I wanted to watch something else, and I went back and watched the rest on DVR later. That's not good. Raw should be a must-see show every single week. It shouldn't be where people can just skip it and watch it on DVR later. WWE, back in the day, during the 90s, Raw would be a show you had to watch, and that's just not the case now. And I don't know if it's going to change anytime soon. As long as WWE gets decent ratings, they're going to continue doing what works for them, and there'll be no real necessity to make a change. All right, this one comes from Joey Jojo. Do you think Booker T will get in trouble with WWE for saying that Owen Hart didn't deny gravity on Raw? There has been a lot of talk and buzz about this, and here's the thing. I think it was overblown. I think people are making too big a deal out of this. To me, it was just a mistake by Booker T. It's something he shouldn't have said, and I'm sure his intentions were not to insult Owen Hart with that line. It was definitely a bad line. I mean, no question about it. But for Booker T to get in trouble over it, I mean, that's really pushing it. It was just a mistake. Owen Hart could have been any other name. The idea was that Neville can defy gravity, and other superstars before were great high flyers, but they couldn't defy gravity like Neville could. That was the whole point of the line. but it just so happened that Booker T was set up the line by JBL. JBL mentioned Owen Hart, and Booker T just said it. And I'm sure Booker T immediately after saying it, much like the infamous Hulk Hogan line, he immediately realized that that wasn't a wise thing to say. And he went on Twitter and he apologized for it. So I think that is the end of the topic, and people should just let it go. I think most people are letting it go. Most of the comments I've seen, people are saying that this is blown out of proportion and people are overreacting to it. And I agree. I think, Booker T made an honest mistake here, and people should just let it be at this point. All right, this one comes from Nick Lombardi 9. Aaron, do you think WWE showing the promo for Payback was a bad idea? It's obvious the story is going to be Roman Reigns getting his hands on Rollins, so basically they're telling us before the title match at Extreme Rules that Rollins will be champ then too. Stupid. Well, I totally agree. I saw the promos as well, and the poster with Roman Reigns in it. I mean, come on now. Everyone realizes it. I guess WWE's attitude is people do realize it regardless, so they're just going to show the promo and not even bother to hide the fact that Roman Reigns is going to be the next in line to get a title shot. It's dumb, but at the same time, I mean, we all knew it. We all knew Roman Reigns was going to be back in the title picture, and he was going to beat the Big Show, and he was going to go on to feud with Rollins again coming off of WrestleMania. I mean, everybody knew that, so it doesn't really bother me all that much. I mean, it's not like it's a huge shocker. Oh my God, Roman Reigns is in the Payback main event. We've been spoiled. I mean, come on now. We all knew what was happening, so it doesn't bother me that much. All right, next question here comes from Kayfabe Candy S. How can WWE move on from the Stardust gimmick since they dropped the Goldust feud? Not that I'm expecting Cody to get some big push anyway, but the gimmick's crap and it reached its low ceiling months ago. I really don't understand what's going on with Cody Rhodes, aka Goldust. You're right. They were building up to something here with Stardust perhaps going back to Cody Rhodes, and then they just dropped it. I mean, once again, going back to earlier with the WWE creative team, they just don't plan things out very far in advance. And if they do, they end up changing plans and they just drop whatever idea they had. And that's what happened here. I guess he's just going to be Stardust now, and we're just going to forget about the Goldust-Stardust feud. And it doesn't make any sense, but this is very typical in WWE where guys, especially guys in the mid-card, they have a storyline and then the storyline gets dropped and nobody cares, and it's just these guys being lost in the shuffle. Same thing with Damian Sandow. What's up with him now? Where's he going to go? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. And, I got more questions here regarding some of the guys in WWE right now. I'll get to that in a little bit. Got this question here from Calvin Bowman 1. Hello, Aaron. How are you? Here's my question. Since Lana is turning babyface after the Naomi-Nikki Bella feud, do you see Lana getting the Divas Championship maybe at Battleground? What do you think? Please answer in video. Well, one would think that is the eventual plan. Excuse me, I'm sounding like Porky Pig here. I think that WWE has got some big plans for Lana. Clearly, she's going to be turning babyface, and the fans are really into her. And one would think she's going to be eventually getting in the ring and having matches and becoming a full-fledged diva. That seems to be the plan in WWE. But once again, I have to keep bringing up the creative team. Who knows? Things could change a month or two down the line. WWE might change their minds about Rusev and decide to keep Rusev and Lana together. Lana's going to do well. Once she breaks off from Rusev, if that ends up happening, which I'm expecting that to happen, she'll be a big star. I mean, I definitely think she'll do well in WWE, even if her in-ring work isn't that great. She still has the personality and the mic skills to go far in WWE. But Rusev, I don't know what's going to happen with him, and I've talked about this before. Lana getting a Divas Championship match, I could definitely see that happening in the near future. Don't know if I want to see it at Battleground. I think if she's going to win the Divas title, it should be at a major pay-per-view like SummerSlam if WWE's really planning to make her the next big diva in WWE. Build it up for SummerSlam. Don't just make it a throwaway match at Battleground. At least that's what I would do. But for all we know, she'll just be in a filler match at Battleground, win the title, and it won't really mean as much. I think it would be better if she won it at SummerSlam. But we'll have to wait and see. And with the way WWE creative is, there's no way to really predict what's going to happen because they could change their minds 1,000 times between now and SummerSlam. All right, this one comes from Raw is War 98. Wait a second. Actually, I'll skip that question. No, I'll do that question right now. Sorry about that. He asked me about the Bret Hart feud with DDP and WCW and what my thoughts were on it. I felt that Bret Hart was a really good heel during that feud with DDP. I felt that Bret Hart was doing a tremendous job with it, but it just wasn't the right role for him at that time in WCW. I do remember him with the steel chair beating the crap out of DDP and DDP just screaming in agony. That was a great segment on Nitro. I think it was the night after Halloween Havoc. Not sure exactly, but it was around that time period. But the problem is that Bret Hart was coming off Montreal, and he should have been the biggest babyface in the wrestling industry going into WCW. And when they turned him heel, that was just completely counterproductive, and it killed his momentum, and he was never really the same in WCW. So as good as he was as a heel, it just wasn't the right role for him at that time. And the DDP feud should have been so much more, but then I believe Bret Hart had a groin injury, and the feud never really went anywhere, unfortunately. All right, last question today from That Was My Fault. Hey, Aaron, do you see any chance to save Eric Rowan? In my opinion, he failed miserably as a singles wrestler. What are your thoughts? I don't really know what's going to happen with Eric Rowan, and once again, I was talking about Damien Sandow and some of these other guys. Eric Rowan, he had some momentum being part of the Wyatt family. I mean, that was a hot act for a while, and he was just a guy that was part of it. WWE probably could have gotten any number of guys with a scary look, a bald-headed guy with a beard, to play that role. I mean, Eric Rowan's decent, but Harper's a lot better, and I don't think Harper's going to go that far in WWE. I think that his look is going to limit him in the long run. These guys were marketable as members of the Wyatt family, but once they broke off and it was clear that Bray Wyatt was the star of the group, it's going to be tough for both of them, especially Eric Rowan, to really make it on his own. And obviously he's been lost in the shuffle. I mean, he hasn't even been a factor on Raw in recent weeks. And the fact that Harper, who many feel is a very good in-ring performer, he's doing jobs now. He lost at Extreme Rules, and then he lost to Neville on Raw. So if Eric Rowan has any chance, I mean, maybe if they repackage him, give him a new gimmick, I mean, that's really the only way I can see him getting a renewed push in WWE. Otherwise, he's just going to be a body, just another guy that they need if they have to have a segment where somebody does a job or whatever. He takes a bump for one of the top heels. I mean, that's really the only purpose I think he's going to serve at this point, unfortunately for him. All right, so that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks, as always, for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it on Facebook, Twitter. Subscribe if you haven't already at youtube.com/NoDQCAW. And I will see you guys next time for another edition of NoDQ&A video.